I'm just like a little business knitter when I'm working with this. Love this fabric. Again, as I've told you guys, knitting is for fun. The deadlines that we self-impose are not real. They're made up. Hey everyone, my name's Jacqueline and this is Jack and Kit, a place where I talk all about the sewing and the knitting that I'm doing to create clothes and home decor for my house in a more sustainable and also really fun way. Today I have for you just a normal podcast episode. I'm going to go through 2 of the things that I've been working on lately that you guys will probably be familiar with, that I have some new and exciting fun updates on. And then I'm also going to show you a recent gauge swatch that I did yesterday for an upcoming spring make that I have. Today I'm really excited to share that this video is sponsored by Ana Luisa Jewelry. Ana Luisa is a brand that's based out of New York, and they really focus on sustainable jewelry that's tarnish resistant. So their jewelry goes through like this long process to make sure that it's okay in humidity, it's okay when you're sweating, and that your jewelry just isn't gonna tarnish and become ruined really quickly. So for me, I picked out a couple of really special pieces. You can see I'm wearing them today. So this one is a 2-layered necklace. And then I also have on these really pretty earrings. So these necklaces are kind of cool because they're actually 2 different necklaces that come in one set. So I can either wear one or the other, or I can wear them stacked like this. And I actually wore these to the yoga this morning and they didn't get in the way. I didn't even notice that they were on, and I just love how like dainty they are. I honestly can't even feel them, but I love that it adds just like that little bit of glisten and glam. It's almost like, you know, like I didn't try hard, I just am this cool sort of look. And then I picked out these really fun earrings. So I picked these out because I like to mix and match metals. So you can see my rings are silver, and then obviously these are gold, and I like to mix and match. So I thought these earrings would be fun because the little like crystal diamonds in them mixed with the gold kind of give that like mixed metal look. And then it has that like kind of checkered look too, which I think is really cool. And I also just love to wear little like huggy style hoops. So I thought that was great. But what's really cool about this brand is they offer free shipping, but they also have free exchanges, and they also have a 2-year warranty. So if any of your items do for some reason get tarnished or start to wear more than you want them to, that 2-year warranty, you can do a free exchange for something else, which is really great. So let me know if you guys decide to twin with me, if you pick out the same pieces, or if you shop for something else. Let me know what you decide. Prices start at just $39, and there's so many things to choose from. So thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. The first thing that I have to share with you today is an update on how my Lana Vest is going. So the last time I talked with you guys about this vest, it was just like a panel. I had just started from the back. So the way this pattern is worked up is you cast on the back and then you kind of start working up and you start to shape those shoulders a little bit. And then eventually you pick up sides for both shoulders. So first I picked up one, then the other, you knit down, it's a V-neck. So you knit down, you work across a few rows, and then you finally get to join in the round. So I just posted on my Instagram the other day. I was so excited because I finally got to the point where I was gonna join in the round. So I have it for you here. And here, I have my needle like sticking through the whole thing, is where we're at. So yeah, so you can see here, this is the front, and then this is the back. It's really beautiful. You can see that that needle sticking through there. Looks like it's just stabbing my item. You can see it has this really beautiful seed stitch. It also has a smaller cable and then a larger cable here. Goes back to a small cable, and then it has this like diamond motif in the center that's just worked with knits and pearls. And yeah, I've really been enjoying this lately. This was something that I cast on and then I sat down because it was just a little bit more work than I had anticipated, just in terms of like the yarn size and just like making the cables. And so I really needed to like schedule out, like compartmentalize in my brain when I was gonna work on this. And when I was finally ready, I feel like I've been enjoying it so much more. So that's a good reminder for you guys. If you're ever working on a project and it just doesn't feel right at that time, just maybe wait it out a little bit, because once you have either some more free time or you're done with a different project, that other thing that maybe you were dreading before can kind of open itself up in a whole new way and feel really special at a different time. So that's been this one for me. I had kind of been like putting it off, but now it's been literally the only thing I've been working on like the past week and a half, and I've been loving working on it. And I'm really excited to continue making progress. So this is something that I was really hoping to finish by Easter. That's in 11 days. So we'll see if I get there. I have like a set of repeats left for the rest of this body. So this needs about, I think it's like a 6 or 7 row increase, 7 more times. And so I'm on that. I think I'm on that first one. I think there's technically maybe 8 repeats. So I have 7 more left. But either way, I'm kind of thinking, okay, Jackie, is there any way you can do at least one of those repeats a day and then make it to Easter? But then I also need to figure out time. When am I going to do, because obviously I have to pick up for the collar, do the whole collar, pick up the armbands, do the whole armband ribbing, pick up the bottom, do the whole bottom ribbing. So we'll see if I make it. I do have a knit day tomorrow with friends at a coffee shop. So maybe I can what if I could knock out like 3 of those rounds on Sunday? That would set me up in a really good place. But again, as I've told you guys, knitting is for fun. The deadlines that we self-impose are not real. They're made up. And so if I do make it to Easter, how freaking cute of an outfit would this be on Easter? But if I don't, I'll survive. It's still a cute outfit for the rest of spring. The other thing about this project is like it looks different in every single lighting. So I think on camera right now it's showing up like kind of limey green. Sometimes it's that really warm lime green, and then in some lights it's like more cool tone like pastel. And it also changes like depending on what lighting I'm working on in whatever room. So yeah, it's just one of those fun colors. When I take a picture, I never know what it's gonna look like, which is kind of funny. But it is a very vibrant color, and I'm really excited for it. For anybody who's not familiar, this is the yarn that I used on it. It is Kints & Co. in the style Osprey. It's 100% American wool in an Aran weight, and it is in the color Leek. I do think that this color might be getting discontinued, so if you think it's cute, like I do, maybe look up where it's at in your local yarn shops, because I think a lot of yarn shops are really heavily discounting it because this color is being discontinued. And it's so cute for spring. So yeah, that's this. I would describe it as just like, it's very like round and squishy. That's how I feel when I'm working on it. It's a lovely yarn. I actually was thinking this week while working with it, I wouldn't be opposed to using it again for sure. In a different color, but using it again. I also wanted to update you guys. I am using this Coco Knits. This is like, I don't know if she calls it a portfolio or what she calls it. I'll probably link it down below, but it's one of those like folders that's magnetic. So you can set it up on itself and like really easily read your pattern. And then I'm not going to show this to you guys just because I'd be giving away the pattern, but I'll show you a couple of things that I use on it. So I'll show you on this side. on the other side, I have a printout of my Lana Vest pattern, and line by line, I'm using it because for this cabled pattern, every line is different, right? So you could also use this if you had a chart or whatever that you were working through. And I really love these magnetic rulers because I line it up and put whatever line I'm working through in the middle. And so that way I never lose my place. I can really easily just like slide it down while I'm working on it. I know in the past I've used kind of like washi tape to keep where I'm at in my pattern, and that works great too, but this is just, it's so convenient, and it's also really beautiful and really nice. I don't think it's not super cheap. It's like maybe $40 for this, and then I do think you pay extra for the ruler. So maybe a really good item to put on like a wish list you have for a birthday or whatever, or just as like a treat yourself moment. If you love to do charted patterns, I highly recommend it. Another really cool thing about it is they have just like all these like accessories for it. They all stick to it. Like I know there's like a row counter, or yeah, they just have like a bunch of different accessories you can put on it. And one is like the magnets, and then their cable holders are also magnetic. So as I'm working through this, my cable holder just sticks to that magnet, and I don't know, I just feel like it looks so fancy. It makes me feel like I have all my materials ready to go. I feel like I am just like a little business knitter when I'm working with this. But yeah, that's the Lana Vest. For anybody that doesn't know, I have a Ravelry where I keep all my updates on my project. So on there you can see what size I'm making, any other details about the pattern, any specific notes I have in there. I will say this one in particular, with me being left-handed, has had some things I've had to tweak. So for instance, when I do cables, if it's a left-leaning cable, I do the directions for a right-leaning cable. As always, for a make one right, I do a make one left. For my left-handed knitting, I knit from left to right. So a lot of times people will just say to me, well, why don't you just knit continental if you're a left-handed knitter? When I knit continental, I use my right hand, not my left hand. So if you can imagine, every single thing that I do as a left-handed knitter is mirrored to what you do. So a right-handed knitter will knit right to left, but I knit left to right. So only other things with this pattern is just that like when I pick up and knit the left shoulder, I'm technically picking up and knitting the right shoulder. So yeah, just if you can imagine everything mirrored, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I think that's it for the Lana Vest. Keep your fingers crossed for me to finish it for Easter. That would be so cute. But if not, I'll keep you guys posted, and hopefully you'll get to see me wear it in the next episode. Okay, so next I have for you guys an update on how my Paul sweater is going. So last time I talked to you, I was really excited about this. I could not put it down, and that's actually one of the reasons why I switched to working a little bit more on the Lana Vest, because I knew if it were up to me, I just would have kept going on this and finished it, you know? So I've been trying to just like even myself out in between my whips. I definitely feel like I maybe am a little bit more of a monogamous knitter. And so, yeah, just kind of evening myself out a little bit, keeps things interesting. As you can see, I don't have a ton of whips on the needles, but just a couple, I think, keeps things interesting and exciting. So this one in particular is worked with 2 different strands of yarn. So I have the Sandus Garn Sunday, and this is in the petite knit color Banana. It's really beautiful. It's a very like mellowed out yellow, if I had to describe it. Maybe even like less pastel. No, it's pastel, but it's very like just a creamy banana, like that very butter banana, if I had to describe it as something. And then this is the Cumulus by Fiberspace. And this is almost more of just like a very true banana, if I had to say. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the fiber difference, this is just like a little bit more muted than this is. But I picked them out to go together, and I think they just work so beautifully together. So this in particular is a unique pattern. Trying to figure out, there were some like new construction things for this one for me. So this is what I have so far. It's a little bit wrinkly. Let's see if I can even it out a little bit. So you can see here, first I knit up, just lay it on myself. First I knit up the back panel, and then let's see, I think I worked up. You knit like some short rows and knit up. Then I picked up stitches. I did 2 different of these like side panels, and then I did a 3 needle bind off actually to knit them together. I don't know if you can see that seam there. So they're kind of seamed together right there. And then, I'm sorry, I misspoke. First I did this one and this one, seamed them together, and then I picked up all this bottom and kind of went down. And now I've picked up again on these 2 sides. So first I'm doing this right hand side, and again I'm following directions for the left shoulder even though it's technically the right shoulder. And I'm going to be doing some German short rows to kind of build out this front of the V-neck, and then I'm going to go down, and kind of similar to that vest, I'll eventually join them together, and this will make a little V-neck once it's once the panels are long enough. So yeah, this is just looking a little bit funky right now, but you know, some new processes for me. Like I've never done, I believe this is a drop shoulder. I haven't never done one of those before. I did that 3 needle bind off. Haven't done one of those to like connect the rounds. You can see how beautiful the fabric is here. It's so pretty. I think in some instances, I probably roll out, and that's when because it's flat, you're doing one side knit, one side purl, and rowing out is when your purl sides, just like the stitches tend to be like a little bit longer, or a little bit looser than your knit side. And I think perhaps I may have some of that, but overall I'm like very happy with the fabric. I think it looks really beautiful and really pretty. I just like this color on myself. I think in a lot of instances I've always been afraid to wear yellow, but I like that this is actually like showing up pretty vibrant on screen. I think that like the more muted yellow is a lot more flattering, and I'm just excited about this pattern because it's like an oversized V-neck. I think it's gonna look really beautiful with just like a white tee underneath and like some pretty jewelry. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I will say with the Surrey, I don't know, I'm a little bit worried about this fabric being so drapey that it looks like very, very casual. I've noticed in some of the pictures of people using mohair that it just looks a little bit more structured. So that's been kind of fun for me to learn is, you know, the differences between mohair and Surrey, because I think a lot of people use them interchangeably, but I'll show you, especially on this next upcoming project, the fibers themselves are quite different. I think that Surrey in general tends to be like, it almost feels wet. I was like describing to my friend, it feels more like heavy and damp. And the fibers just feel like bigger and longer, versus the mohair feels like light and airy, like just it's all the way I can describe it as just being super light. And it also just feels a little bit more structured. I feel like Surrey to me feels just more casual. I don't know how to better describe that, and maybe I'll think of some better words as I continue working on this, but it just feels so soft and so squishy, versus mohair I think can tend to just give a little bit more of a structured fluff, if you will. If you have better adjectives for me than what I just described, if you feel the same way, or actually also if you feel different than I do, I'd be interested in how you feel like your differences between the fibers are. Because I think the main conversation around the fibers are mostly just that Surrey is sometimes a little less itchy for people than mohair, depending on if you're sensitive to alpaca or not. But I rarely get to hear like the overall what it does to fabric. conversation. So just pretty interested in that. So yeah, that is the Paul sweater. Again, that's by Morica Knit. Let's see. I am knitting a size large on this one. Again, my details are going to be in my Ravelry. And this one is knit on 4mm needles. So the last thing I have to show you guys is just a new swatch that I just made. And this is something I knew I wanted to cast on this spring. This is from a yarn dyer that does like pre-orders. And so I knew when I pre-ordered this that it would probably come, 6 weeks later. And then I was just planning for what I was gonna make this spring. So this is actually made out of Sewrella Yarn. And the color is I Am All In. And this is from the Gilmore Girls collection. And I have right here, this is a mohair, and then this is a Surrey. So baby Surrey alpaca and a kid silk mohair. You can kind of see, it's very interesting like how the fibers took the dye differently. So this is also, aiding to that conversation I was having earlier. Mohair actually took the color a little bit more, and it's just ever so slightly darker. And then the Surrey is ever so lightly lighter. So yeah, they're really beautiful though. So this, I am making the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit, a very popular pattern. And I knew I wanted to make this just because of how much I see it on Instagram and Ravelry, and how beautiful and also like glowing the reviews are. Like it seems like everybody who makes this loves their outcome, loves to wear it. And yeah, I loved the idea of making something like fully out of mohair. It wasn't until I saw Sewrella's post where they had all their fibers where I was like, okay, but what if I held a Surrey with a mohair instead of 2 strands of mohair? And yeah, maybe, might be a cool thing to do is make this and then maybe make one that is all Surrey or one that is all mohair, and see just like the fabric differences that I get. It also might be really interesting to, like I have Surrey in my stash, I have mohair in my stash. I could just knit up some gauge swatches and see the fabric differences. But yeah, I kind of teased this for you guys. This is my little fabric swatch here. So pretty. I haven't blocked this yet, but I will be blocking it to see just like how it grows and if I'm on gauge. So I've heard some discussion on Instagram about like, why do you gauge swatch? And for me, a big reason is to see, do I even like the fabric? Is this something that I'm gonna like on myself? Are the colors playing nicely together and that sort of thing? And then of course, secondly, to really check your gauge. So I haven't fully checked my gauge on this one yet. I usually do that kind of before and after the blocking just to make sure the blocked fabric is exactly what I want, because all of my garments I do block. But this one, like just to start, love this fabric. I've been like testing it right here to see if it itches my neck. And I can just ever so slightly feel it, but not really. And this in general is just gonna be so fluffy. It's so light, like this has to weigh like literally nothing. And it's really beautiful. Again, I think I am rowing out on this. So a lot of this pattern is gonna be in the round, so I won't really deal with that, but it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I'm really excited about this. For anybody who's not familiar, the Cumulus blouse is a top down in the round sweater, and it has like a more rounded v-neck, I would say, and then it has an I-cord edge. So it looks to me just like a very springy sweater. If you were to say a spring sweater, in my head, my mind would automatically go to this pattern. So that's really why I wanted to wear it. We'll see if the mohair plus Surrey together is like super hot in the spring. I don't know. But yeah, it just looks wise, this pattern looks springy to me. So that's what I'm really excited on. I think I'm probably gonna wait to cast this on until I'm done with that vest. So My goal this week is to finish that vest before I see you guys next, and then to hopefully cast on that Cumulus blouse and kind of work on that in tandem with my banana sweater, that fall sweater. I'm also hoping to work on a sewing project later this month, I guess going into next month, into April. And I have some fabric for like a linen button up. So look forward to that. I'll reveal that to you guys at some point once I cut it out and start working on it. But yeah, that is today's podcast. Don't forget to click that link in the top of my description bar to get that deal on the Ana Luisa jewelry. And please let me know if you do decide to pick something out. I'd love to see what you chose. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe, and you can ring that little bell just to be notified each time that I upload. I appreciate every single minute that you spend with me, and I'm so grateful for you guys and this little fun and inviting and exciting fiber community that we have on YouTube. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.